Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. St. Lucia has a new government arising from general elections of Monday, 26th July. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Tuesday, 27th July 2021. Details when we return.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Yesterday, the Alan Chastanet-led United Workers' Party, UWP, lost the general election to the St. Lucia Labour Party, SLP, and therefore had to make way for an SLP administration led by Philip J. Pear. Two defected members of the UWP, Richard Frederick, and the former Prime Minister and former leader of the UWP, Stephenson King, won their seats handsomely and were declared early winners. Those were taken as an indication of where things were going for Chastanet's chances at re-election. We will keep you posted on developments as the results are verified in a subsequent broadcast. Meanwhile, the attorney for the officers implicated in the 2010-2011 alleged extrajudicial killings in St. Lucia has questioned the timing of Wednesday's announcement by Director of Public Prosecutions, Darcian Green, on the status of the long-running probe into alleged killings by members of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Solange Alfred of HTS News Force has more.
Director of Prosecutions Darcian Green announced Wednesday that he had advised the Commissioner of Police that there was insufficient evidence at this stage to bring charges against police officers in 5 of the 12 cases, and that investigations were still ongoing in the other 7. Lon Theophilus, the attorney for the officers implicated in the killings, has however questioned the timing of the DPP statement, 2 days before police officers go to the polls.
It is not unknown that it was a political issue which was raised 5 years ago. And one of the things that the government campaigned on, amongst other things, is settling this matter. And they gave assurances to all parties that this matter would be settled. In addition, we've heard multiple statements coming out from the political directorate with respect to this matter, indicating that the matter will be concluded. Strangely enough, statements were made indicating at times that charges would be laid and that this matter would be, investigations would be concluded prior to the general election, which is uncommon because if an investigation is being conducted, the timelines for investigation cannot be confined to political timelines or should never be confined to political timelines. We found the timing of this one rather unique.
Theophilus reveals that the officers involved in the matter were apprised of the new developments like everyone else when the DPP issued his public statement. The way the whole matter is being handled, says the attorney, is totally unacceptable. He notes that the men have had this matter hanging over their heads for about a decade and cannot still be given a clear indication of their fate. Compensation for the trauma suffered by the officers, he says, is something that needs to be considered.
We had to sit down and listen to the rumor that a statement was going to be made over the television, like everyone else, and then try to get from the attorney, try to understand what is their position, which is too unclear. Okay? No definitive statement. A definitive statement needs to be made in relation to those matters so that these individuals who were brought in and arrested in relation to these matters can know guess what? I am not going to be prosecuted in this matter. This is the end of this matter in relation to them. And there are other instances And we need to be very concerned about the fact that these officers, by virtue of the investigation into this matter, have been deprived of promotion, deprived of their advancement as officers within the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. It has put tremendous strain upon them and their families.
One human rights attorney who had been calling on the DPP to issue a statement on the matter has also questioned the timing of his pronouncements, as has SLP leader Philip Pierre. For the DBS News World, I am Zane Romulus.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
The atmosphere created by COVID-19 has pushed the world further into a digital space, forcing many micro, small and medium-sized enterprises to rethink their strategies for doing business. Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley, the Caribbean's foremost leader with substance in these current challenging times for the region, says, coupled with these are the natural disasters the region is vulnerable to, which have created even more economic challenges in the past year. More in this Barbados Today news item.
Delivering the keynote address at day one of Bridging the Digital Divide conference, PM Mottley referred to ideas as a determining factor of the human condition, stating that good ones are required for the Caribbean to achieve its truest potential. She says governments around the region spend mainly on three areas: sectors which generate the most revenue in Forex, sustainability sectors such as education, and sectors which protect the public, such as national security. PM Mottley says energy and tourism are among top priority in the Caribbean.
Yet when we look to the areas of sustainability and resilience, the other two areas on which we spend money, despite the multiples of billions in annual regional public spend, there is no similarly deep collaboration between government and the private sector. I ask you, why is this?
According to the Barbados Prime Minister, converting the region's vulnerabilities to expertise and using that to generate valuable global business should be an obvious move. However, she believes being risk-adverse is one problem, while bureaucracy is another.
The current structural framework of Caribbean governments, adherence to processes, procedures, and protocols, have a tendency to outrank the pursuit of innovation, impact, or speed.
She labels the present environment as a digital revolution where some of the largest companies are technology-based and account for a global total of about $5 trillion. PM Mottley says while MSMEs in the Caribbean contribute to around 50% of GDP and create 45% of jobs, very few can compete digitally, as most of them function on old technology. In order to evolve, she says, governments must spend differently, but she's not putting the responsibility solely on governments.
If the Caribbean private sector was to fully commit to be more deeply concerned about the government's duty to protect and facilitate development, fairness, transparency, and accountability, then Caribbean governments could fully commit to more deeply caring about the Caribbean's private sector's capacity to maximize profits.
Bridging the Digital Divide conference hosted by the TNT Chamber and CARICHAM is mainly sponsored by the Inter-American Development Bank, the National Entrepreneurship Development Company, and B-Mobile. One Caribbean Media is a media sponsor. Booths are set up at Express House, where during the virtual conference, which starts at 9 a.m. on Friday, participants can interact with media personalities from CCNTV6, as well as Radio Hot 93 and Taj 93.2 FM via the sponsorship lounge on the online platform where they are registered. Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.
Guyana's President Irfan Ali on Thursday afternoon put to rest the issue surrounding the purchase of several doses of Sputnik V vaccine. At the same time, he also maintained that his suspension of the Police Service Commission is lawful. Further, the president flipped the script on the decriminalization of marijuana. HGP's Wendell Badri has the details.
On the sidelines of the handing over of instruments of state warrants and commissions to several newly graduated officers of the Ghana Defence Force at the Baridi Ben Abbott State House on Thursday, the head of state was asked to respond to the furor surrounding the purchase of several doses of the Sputnik V vaccines.
There is no price to the life of the people of this country. We tried every single source. We tried every single manufacturer. We tried every single embassy, ambassador, country, state to get the vaccine. And we got it from this source. And the only thing that matters to me is that we were able to get it.
Sometime in June, the government found itself embroiled in a scandal surrounding the purchase of the vaccines after it was revealed in the National Assembly by the Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, that in excess of $1 billion was expended to purchase the vaccines from a sheikh of Dubai, Ahmed Dalmouk Al Maktoum, and that those purchases came through a middleman, per Morten Hansen, who is wanted in Norway for money laundering and tax evasion. The minister further revealed that the government intends to expend an additional $2 billion in second doses of the vaccine. A Norwegian newspaper, which is reported to have been closely monitoring the sheikh and Per Hansen, reported in June that the duo were purchasing the vaccines directly from the manufacturer and reselling them at higher premiums to third world countries. Guyana is reported to have paid at least twice the cost for the Sputnik vaccine. Meanwhile, on the issue of the Police Service Commission, the President maintained that his decision to suspend the constitutional body is in conformity with the law.
Obligated to act in conformity with the Constitution, and I have done so.
When asked to offer clarity on the matter for the benefit of those who may disagree, the President responded.
I don't have to repeat the reason I've sent a letter outlining the procedure that the Prime Minister went through the issue, and he advised me, and based on the advice, I was convinced that it was the best step forward.
On Monday, the Police Service Commission, through its battery of lawyers, filed court proceedings against the President, Prime Minister, Minister of Legal Affairs, the Commissioner of Police, and its Secretary, asking the court to find that they have all acted contrary to the rule of law and to compel them to act within the ambit of the law. The body maintains that the President has wrongfully suspended the Commission and that the Prime Minister's advice, which was tendered to His Excellency, was misguided. The President was also asked to respond to the issue of the decriminalization of marijuana in the face of intensified action by the Rastafarian community, calling for the substance to be decriminalized on the basis of it being a sacrament.
We have to look at this from a national perspective. And I rather look at the hemp industry at the moment.
The leader of the country pointed out that discussions have already begun about the hemp industry at the level of cabinet, and that he has also received advice from the Defense Board about the subject. Reporting for the HGP Nightly News, Wendell Badri.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world, and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket, and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.